and a beautiful day for Nun Sense. Sister Réjane is joining us right now, and I don't know, what'd you do to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, Sister?
Good morning, Sister. We have a parade. Good morning, Ron and Dave, in Leavenworth.
Oh,
nice.
And neat.
Yeah, and every year, and so it's beautiful. There's lots of Irish families. So we have the Scanlons, and I'm trying to think of all my other names now. I'm not going to remember. But the Scanlons, the biggest family out here, man. They are amazing. They have like 3 floats. So any person who has any blood is on that parade. I'm not kidding you.
That sounds huge.
It is huge. And Grand Marshals. One of my sisters has been a past Grand Marshal. No, I think two of them. Two of them. And one is our... Carol Schmidt was the one this year, and she plays for Mass for our university. So we were thrilled.
I love that.
It's just fun.
Parade through downtown Leavenworth.
Yes. Oh, and they always put spring break so that it's on this week, so that all families can come.
Isn't that great? So everything is really built around St. Patrick's Day.
It is. It is. Yes. So it was great. It was much fun. And the weather was great. It was 70 degrees, so we were loving it. That's very unusual.
Isn't it interesting, Sister, in so many parts of our world, particularly throughout Europe, in the early days, everything was built around saints' days and holy days. About, the whole community, all work weeks, all that we were built around the celebrations in the church. You worked hard, and then you had feasting.
Right, and you played hard, and that helped make your life easier to just be able to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, so I thought today let's talk about St. Patty, and I think once you kind of wade through the greenery and the festivities, which are great, it's interesting to learn what we really know about them, right? So I bring out my 2 sources. One is from our Sunday Visitor article by D.D. Emmons, which I like. St. Patrick, do you know the myth or the man? So, and then Robert Ellsberg, his Saint Snapshot on March 17th, and Give Us This Day. And so what we know is he was born in the late 300s and raised in a Christian family somewhere in Britain, they think like present-day Scotland. But when he was a teenager, he was captured and taken across the water to Ireland, where he was sold as a slave to a landowner who put him to work, and some of that time was as a shepherd. And it was during his time as a shepherd, he spent a lot of time alone in nature, and he really deepened his faith and his relationship with God. So while he was a shepherd around the age of 22, he had a dream that he was meant to escape and return home. So he believed this was heaven sent, and he just started walking. He spent 20 days, and he walked 200 miles.
Wow.
I couldn't do that. Got to the sea, and because he was in the north and it was far from the water, so where he was able to find a ship, and he eventually got home. So, believing his suffering in Ireland was for some purpose rather, he felt called to enter the priesthood. And so he went to France. That's where he was in seminary. And he had another dream. And this dream was a voice in Irish saying, "We beg you, holy youth, you should come and walk again amongst us."
Going back to his place of slavery. Yeah.
I know. I'd be like, no way.
No, that's not for me. Yeah.
But he discerned he really was called to return to Ireland and bring the gospel to people unaware of Jesus Christ. So but becoming a priest, he was in France. He stayed there for 20 years. I mean, he was still felt called, but he was under authority and obedience to do what he was supposed to be doing. So, and during that time, he kept talking about it, and people were like, "Oh, yeah, exactly your response, Dave. Why would you want to go back?
Right,
You were there against your will. You were a slave." But 432 rolls around, he gets appointed a bishop, and he gets sent to Ireland. And that his mission was twofold: to minister to the Christians in Ireland, which many were like he was, brought there as slaves, and evangelize and transform the hearts of those that weren't Christians. But he didn't go alone. That's something new. I thought he was alone, but he went with several companions.
Oh.
So he was really like the big organizer. And but what's interesting is, Irish lived in tribal communities or clans, and each clan was ruled by a king. So Patrick and his companions first had to go to the king and evangelize him and hope for the best, because they had to request permission to go preach to the people, right? The king's the one that said that. So, being a missionary was dangerous, and Pat and his companions often got imprisoned. But, God's Holy Spirit was with them, and they were not harmed.
Wow.
So, I think we have to give him credit. He was St. Patrick was very persistent and passionate about spreading the gospel in Ireland.
Well, thank God he was.
30 years he was walking and did thousands of baptisms. 300 bishops were ordained and hundreds of churches were erected.
Wow.
20 years in France before he went.
Yeah, I didn't know
realize
that.
That's
amazing.
Yeah. Oh, so I'll just end with this last thing. We have to remember he was the victim of Irish injustice before he became the symbol of that pride. And that involves a lot of transforming power of forgiveness that I talked about last week. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what today's segment really confirms for me is that what they say is absolutely true. Sister Réjane is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just confirmed again today.
I don't know how you did it,
fantastic.
but
Thank you.
You have driven all the snakes out of the studio.
Oh, good.
I'm not sure about that.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you, sister.
Well, there's a couple left,
dear.
yeah.
That could be another story.
People are talking.